friends. Welcome to the Original Gamers Cast. I will be your host this week. My name is Joel Watt. Patrick Ryan is out. I am joined today, as always, by Nolan Brown.
Hey, everybody.
And you've heard him before, last week, I guess, in Chrono Trigger. It's LJ Lowry.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Cool. So, this week we're going to be talking about Spyro the Dragon. But before that, how are you guys doing?
Pretty good. It's a long week for me, but, it's all good. I got paid today for the first time in 6 months, so that was really cool.
Payday.
That's always good.
Yeah, I know it's none of it. I'm not going to keep any of it.
Oh,
Yeah. You've got bills to pay, right?
Yeah, literally, yeah, it's like
They
literally.
stack up after 6 months.
Yeah, so, but I get to pay them off, so they'll stop calling me every day. So that's cool.
yeah,
Cool.
that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. What have you guys been playing? Or actually, LJ, you didn't get a chance to say how you're doing. How are you doing?
Well, work has been kind of long, but good. We got a spring picnic coming up on Sunday, and a lot of big Easter stuff. As far as gaming goes, I just started playing League of Legends yesterday for the first
Oh
time.
no.
I saw that.
That's what I heard. Other than that, I'm stoked for Pokken comes out today, so I'm gonna go pick up that later.
So, LJ, you've been playing League of Legends. That game sucks you in and never lets you go.
I only played the first AI match, and after I won, I was like, yes! I'm like, this game is gonna be awesome.
Just wait till you start losing consistently.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, just crushes your will to live.
That's how MOBAs are, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just games that are based on competition in general. That's why I don't play them. I play 3D platformer adventure games where just me and I get to run around and do things.
Pretty much.
But Nolan, what have you been playing lately?
Well, last week actually to get to pick up the Twilight Princess HD. Oh my gosh, it's so I've been playing that a little bit. Oh, it's so nice. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Oh,
same here. That's all I've been doing is playing Twilight Princess. It's so beautiful. I accidentally selected hero mode.
Oh.
I like straight up. I'm like, oh, I love this. I'm gonna do that, and then I realized how difficult that is having double damage and
Yeah, I think I've died 12 times already. Like, and I've had it since day one. So I just finished the Water Temple. And
That's like
Healed
Dark Souls
Midnight.
level right there.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, hero mode is it's New Game Plus, but from the beginning. Like everything is more difficult. The map is mirrored.
Oh, so it is mirror. I was thinking like this seems off.
Yeah,
Like-
what they did is they took the Wii version and made it difficult with regular controllers. Actually, you could use motion controls if you want to on either version.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I heard.
It's kind of cool, but
I guess the motion controls would be aiming with the gamepad, but we're not talking about that game anymore.
yeah.
But yeah, that's what we've been playing.
Is that in
Actually, I didn't get a
Pokemon?
chance to play Spyro this week either. I went down to the game store yesterday because I'd been putting it off buying Spyro, and I went down there yesterday and they didn't have it, and so I went down to the mall and they didn't have it, and so finally I was just like, this keeps happening to me. I go to both places and neither of them has this game we're supposed to be playing, so I bought it on eBay.
Amazon is a good place too.
eBay usually has better prices, I've noticed. When it comes to games.
Does it really?
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
Amazon gouge. Whereas
Okay.
if you look hard enough on eBay, you'll find somebody selling it, like, has a buy it now option. It's cheap.
I want to look into that because I want to play
Okay.
that whole trilogy of the reboot.
Yeah, and you can find a really good deal if you if you're able to win an auction a lot of times. But I don't bother with that. People who sell it with buy it now, like, they just want to get rid of it. and
Yeah.
so they're selling it for cheap.
Pretty much.
So that's what I do. Amazon, like
I got
I
NHL
know
hits
somebody
back in the day like that.
somebody bought Super Smash Brothers Melee at my church for like $80,
Whoa.
Whoa.
and I was like, I got mine for 65 on eBay.
That's crazy.
I think
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I still have mine.
Yeah, I gave
Not
mine
sure. I have to go check.
to the church a long time ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's what's been going on. But yeah, this week we're talking about Spyro the Dragon. So it was developed by Insomniac Games, obviously published by Sony Computer Entertainment, as it is a PS1 exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
The executive producer, lead programmer, director, creator, this guy was in charge of everything pretty much. Mark Cerny. And fun fact about him, he's actually now pretty much working for Sony.
Okay.
Where did I have it here? The lead architect for the PS Vita and the PS4. So,
Oh, really?
he designed their architecture. Like,
Nice.
that's pretty impressive, actually, to think that this guy went from like a programmer and developer to like pretty much electrical engineer, like more than that. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
he's designing like architecture for a system. Like that's impressive. Like that's more than most electrical engineers will ever do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, this little game really propelled him pretty far, and that's neat to see. 20 years late, well, 18 years later, where these people have come.
Yeah, for sure.
hmm
So speaking of big names, the composer for all the music for Spyro the Dragon here is Stuart Copeland, who is the drummer for the Police. Which is the band that Sting started out in. So I just think that's a really cool fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
If you're gonna get a guy who knows how to make music, you might as well get somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely.
The intro jingle is pretty iconic too. Back
Oh,
when I
yeah.
went and,
Yeah.
listened to it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that."
Yeah, I mean, well, there were so many demo discs that were passed around. Like, I know my first experience with this game was on a demo disc.
I played
It was
too.
it was one of the PS1 pack-in discs that had like 4 or 5 different demos on it.
Mhm.
And when I was at the game store, I found a demo disc of just Spyro the Dragon, and it's like, it's not really worth it. I mean, if I was like super into collecting, I might get it, but
Yeah.
not at this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently a lot of people have had experience or first experienced Spyro on the demo, which is true for a lot of PS1 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, and so of course, we mentioned it several times. This is available on the original PlayStation. It is also re-released on PSN for the PS3 and the PSP. So you can get it any of those ways. All models of the PS3 are backwards compatible with PS1 discs.
Yeah.
So,
I just wish you
Mhm.
could do that on the PS4. If they release some of those
Yeah.
classics on there.
oh my gosh, that would be several thousand games. That would be
Yeah.
available. You just pop in a disc, and
Oh, I know.
yeah. Whereas they're making money hand over fist by putting it up on the PSN.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
got to get the licensing for it. So
Mhm.
yeah, they'll never go all the way back
I wish.
with physical media. They'll never go all the way back.
Yeah.
But this was originally released in the U.S. on September 10th, 1998. I was in 9th grade.
Oh wow.
I was not.
Yeah. I wasn't either.
I was in second, third. Shoot.
I know. I can't.
I'll say
remember
third.
either.
I'll say
It-
third based on age.
what grade I was in, because if it's the beginning of the school year, you just subtract 1 from the number at the end, and if it's, past the new year in the school year, then it's the same number at the end. So
I'm the dead middle of the summer, so.
cool, but yeah, and then of course it was released in Europe a month and a half later on October 23rd, 1998. Apparently there was no Japanese release date. I know there was, because fun fact about Spyro 2, the name Spyro in Japanese, the way it was stylized on the cover, looks like it says Ripto in English, which is where they got the name for the villain in the next game, Ripto's Rage.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
That's weird.
So it definitely was released in Japan. Which is fine. It was probably like January of '99 or something.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like I said, I had just started high school when this game came out. Well, actually, I wonder if I can go that far back to 1998. My calendar here, because I always started the day after Labor Day. Yeah, so it came out on a Thursday, and so yeah, I had been in high school for 2 whole days when this game came out.
Sweet.
And then you bought the game, and then you started.
Right. I actually never owned this game. I was a bad kid, and I had an emulator in Bible college, and that's how I first played this game all the way through. Yeah, in Bible college, no less. Yeah. That's how I played this game all the way through. The first time I actually played Spyro 2 before I played Spyro. I guess that would be more on the impact section.
Yeah.
But we'll get back to that. Let's talk about the presentation. The art style. But I was watching a Did You Know Gaming video, and they actually explained it pretty well. When they were designing the game, they wanted to be able to render landscapes all the way off into the horizon instead of using fog effect like you saw in so many games at the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came up with the way of making the landscapes out of really small polygons. So it would look like they were rendered from a distance. And as you got closer, polygon count increased in detail. It was kind of a technical marvel to, be able to render all the way off into the horizon without bogging down the system.
Yeah, definitely.
Based on what I saw, it looked pretty good for a PlayStation game, and the environments, did look like pretty vast,
Mm-hmm. And obviously it's a PS1 game. It's not going to hold up to today's graphics.
Right.
No.
But it doesn't look bad. If you can accept that it's highly stylized, then it's a really good game as far as the art goes. I love it. I love stylized games. I'm not into realism at all. I don't play video games to live another life. I play video games for escapism.
Yeah, and I think that's why the retro style of indie games are getting kind of popular now, because everybody loves that
they've been popular
look.
for 5 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Minecraft. Minecraft, is highly stylized, and people go, "Oh, that game looks so bad. It can run on crappy systems." Like, well, have you tried to run Minecraft at its full settings? Because it'll bog down a modern computer.
It crashed mine.
It's a very
technical,
heavy game. It just is stylized.
Yeah.
So.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
That goes into running those things than just the look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this game, the whole reason Spyro was created, they wanted to expand their audience. By making more kid-friendly games. At the time, you had Super Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie And, you know, Nintendo had these really kid-friendly mascots. And so Sony's like, we need to do something. At the time, I think they only had Crash Bandicoot. You know, but the biggest games, I think at the time, it was like Metal Gear Solid, Tomb Raider, and Final Fantasy VII. You know, all these adult, not adult-oriented, that sounds bad. all these
more mature games
marketed toward, you know, mature gamers.
Yeah.
And, you know, and Sony's like, you know, we need to expand our audience, which is funny because still today they are considered like the mature gamers platform into them and Microsoft.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Nintendo is still seen as a kid-friendly option, even though all three systems have options for everything.
Yeah.
It's just that's how the public perceives them.
Yeah.
But I think it was a really good move on Sony's part because I've just been gushing about this game the whole time. You know, I did pick this game, so obviously I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they chose a dragon as a protagonist.
Dragons are awesome.
Mark Cerny. Yeah, dragons are awesome, right? But yeah, Mark Cerny really likes dragons. And, you know, if I were sitting there in the meeting and he was like, let's make it a dragon. Dragons are awesome. I would have been like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
I love dragons.
Hands up, who wants a dragon?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, and I mentioned Crash Bandicoot. The lead character designer for Crash, Charles Zembalas, designed Spyro the Dragon. Like, Insomniac went over to Naughty Dog and they were like, hey, can you make us characters for this game? And the guy was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, they were both PS1 exclusives at the time. I'm pretty sure they weren't in the same building, like with who was the guys who made Ratchet and Clank, Jack.
Yeah, they're in something.
Oh no, wait, it wasn't something. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting myself confused. Yeah, Naughty Dog and Insomniac were in the same building for a while.
Yeah.
And they pretty much shared an office, I think. So like, they have a lot of connections with each other. Like, Insomniac and Naughty Dog will reference each other in their games a lot. And there's a large orange enemy holding a wrench with a robot running around him in one of the Spyro games. And that's a reference to Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the enemy looks nothing like a cat person. I have no idea what Ratchet and Clank's species is.
He's a Lombax?
Lombax, that's right.
Yeah. And Clank's a robot.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, the enemy looks nothing like a Lombax. He's a grunt. Yeah. As we mentioned before, the music was composed by Stuart Copeland, and it's a lot of progressive rock. And if you really listen to it, like it's definitely drum heavy. You can tell this was composed by a drummer, somebody who loves the drums.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure if Nolan were to write a song, it would be heavy on the bass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, when like last week and actually tonight, when I have to do the soundboard for worship, you can definitely tell the bass is there. Like it's not the main thing, obviously. The singers have, but like bass is like right up there, just like boom, ba 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 ba. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Just mix it a little higher in the subwoofers and everything else.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So last week we actually did start doing something different with the intro and outro. We're taking tracks from the games that we're talking about, and we're using those. So that'll be cool. You guys will get to hear some of that stuff on this episode.
So, yeah, definitely the song that plays on the title screen.
Yes.
Super iconic.
Yeah.
It's gonna be there for sure.
As you can tell.
Then speaking of it being iconic and us loving things, let's talk about the impact.
Mhm.
I know that I played this first on a demo disc, and I you can't go very far in a demo. You can only get to the first area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But how did this game impact you guys?
I remember this was like one of the. I never had a PS1 growing up, so it wasn't for me. But my sister, I guess technically my nephew at that point, did, and they actually did have the full game. So I remember going over to their house to play this, and I always thought like, oh man, this is like. I mean, obviously at the time when the game came out, there was a game I liked more, but that's for another time. But it was a really cool just because I think probably most of us were like, oh, dragons, that's legit,
Mm-hmm.
just even, and the fact that there's most of the characters with these huge dragons, just like these adult dragon, and like you control the little guy, which I always thought was kind of cool. Like, okay, you don't have to be the big guy to do everything, you can be the little dragon, and just that I don't remember if it was the first game or later on that you got like special powers too. Like, I think the first one
That
just
was
had
in the
fire,
second
right?
game.
Okay, yeah. But I always thought, just I guess But so the first one, just the charging around and the run
Yeah,
to be
that
able
was
to like fly a little bit further too, and that just there was a lot of things. Just like it was an interesting take on the through like 3D platformer kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. So, as for me, I guess, like I told you guys earlier, my history with the franchise kind of came later. But I also played it on that demo disc back in the day. And my cousin had a PlayStation. He used to bring it to the house every day, and we played a lot of games. But it just wasn't Spyro. But when they rebooted the trilogy on PS2, and GameCube and Xbox and all that, they started off with Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning, and so that was where they had like a bunch of big actors doing the voices for it, and it was like Elijah Wood as Spyro, David Spade as Sparks, and then
It was David Spade.
Yeah, it was.
What?
And then,
Wow.
Gary Oldman, big actor. He played, I forget the name of the, like the adult dragon, like kind of like the master kind of type. I forget his name, and I just read it. But yeah, those games are really cool because it was developed with a purpose of being a trilogy, and I think even a CGI movie was planned. But the story was very cool because in the third game, Spyro and this other dragon named Cinder, they started to mature, and so Spyro wasn't this cutesy little dragon anymore. He was kind of grown up, and I think that game was more. I mean, they were all more combat centric, but I think that one out of the most was very combat centric, and it had co-op and stuff. But I never got to finish the trilogy, but I plan to. But those games are so great.
Yeah, and so obviously this game has spawned an entire franchise. There's two direct sequels on. So there's a trilogy on the PS1, and then there's the reboot trilogy on PS2, and there's several spin-offs on Game Boy Advance, and there's even supposed to be a movie.
Yeah.
And the movie was canceled though, and Spyro was rebranded to promote Skylanders.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's pretty much was the death of Spyro right there.
Yeah. And then
I don't know if
Spyro
he's
got
even in
kicked out.
Skylanders anymore.
It's just called
Steve.
Skylanders. Because I think Spyro was like a part of the title in the first one. I think.
Yeah, it was called like
Yeah.
Spyro the Dragon featuring the Skylanders or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when Silver Surfer joined Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four was just like a footnote in that title.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. But
That was a terrible movie.
yeah.
So, at the end of the 5 days, I had the game completed, and And it was disappointing because I kind of remember Banjo-Kazooie being a lot longer of a game, a lot bigger. And I returned the game and never went out to buy it. I kind of left it at that, and never went back to play the first game for years. But after a while, it kind of grew on me. I remembered having fun playing it, and I heard that the third game wasn't as good, and I never played it, and that the reboot trilogy was also not as good. But you know, I think as long as the game is fun, like, it doesn't really matter if it doesn't live up to its original. Like, you know, as long as it's still fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
See,
Yeah.
I guess what I like about that reboot trilogy is that it was very story-centric, and it had an epic take to it, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. And it was a fun game overall, too.
You know, usually it's strictly gameplay or it's strictly story. And when you get a lot of story, it's an RPG, and I find that game to be boring when you do that. It's really repetitive. You just sit there, wait for somebody to hit you, and then you hit them back. Wait for your input to go through or whatever. I don't like it.
Mhm.
You know,
It's all good.
that's why I wasn't on Chrono Trigger last week, and that's why I won't be on Pokemon next. I like those games. I'm sorry.
It's
It's all
okay.
good. Everybody's
not for
got
everybody.
their own taste.
Yeah. But then the opposite end of the spectrum is strictly gameplay with no story, and that's when you get games like Call of Duty or,
Mhm.
you know, the shooters, basically.
And I'll
And
say,
Mhm.
very rarely will you find a shooter that has a good story, I think. The one that pops into my mind first is Spec Ops: The Line.
oh yeah, that's got a good
That-
story.
That game kind of messes with your head when
Yeah,
it comes to the story. And it's got decent action. The only reason why I haven't played it is because the language throughout
yeah.
is they're just constantly F-bombs. And we're talking about old games in this podcast, not new ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some more trivia for you guys, since we've talked about Impact a lot. So the Spyro games have kind of died out, like Crash Bandicoot. And the reason is because they were distributed by Universal Interactive, part of Vivendi Universal. Activision bought Vivendi, and through that deal acquired the rights to Spyro and Crash. Sony was just no longer interested in retaining their stake in either IP. And so, you know, that's when Spyro spun off into Skylanders, or Crash just died.
And that's sad because people want these games now, and I don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
where. I don't know if Skylanders is even considered a Spyro license anymore.
No.
But
I don't think so.
if somehow they could, you know, get back the rights back and the licensing and stuff, like, I think people would be all over that if they, you know, brought them back.
Yeah, well, I read that, I want to say it was Mark Cerny, but he just was not interested in developing Spyro games anymore because his hands were so tied with, you know, Universal owning the license and then Activision. And he's just like, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think
sadly,
the
they're...
Universal license is pretty crazy. There's a lot of red tape involved with that and stuff.
Mhm. So yeah, sadly, there will never be another real Spyro game or Crash game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but some other interesting trivia for you. Spyro was originally supposed to be green, because when you think of a dragon, you think of a green dragon, right? But
Oh,
he
yeah.
kept
Yeah.
blending in with the environment because there's a lot of grass landscapes. So they changed him to purple to make him stand out, so he would blend in.
Hey, it works.
And I
Looking
think
at
that was
the
a good
game,
choice.
I can see
Purple
that.
Dragon is more iconic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
All of us being involved with Geeks Under Grace, we like purple.
Yes.
You like purple.
Purple's a good color.
Some interesting trivia about Insomniac themselves. Obviously, they went on to do Ratchet & Clank and Xbox One exclusive Sunset Overdrive, which is the first time first time Insomniac ever had a game not released on PlayStation. It was an Xbox exclusive.
Which Patrick just finished that one last week, and he said it was pretty good. So
Oh yeah,
I hear
Just
it's worth
like-
checking out.
Over the top. Yeah.
I heard a lot of mixed reviews about that game.
Yeah, me too. It was like some people was like, "Oh, that's so dumb," but I guess it sounded like it was basically Meta Shooter the game
Huh.
with RPG added in for some parts, but it was it's very I guess he knows he's in a game or something, so it's very
Kind of
much
breaking
like
the
that.
fourth
I'm
wall
like,
and
oh,
stuff.
that's
Oh, okay. That sounds fun, actually.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, I might want to try to get that after all.
It's just so cool.
If I ever
that
get an Xbox One.
a company like Insomniac, has lasted so long because there aren't many that have lasted like that.
No.
Yeah. And you got to do something to stay around for as long as they have.
Yeah, exactly.
But you guys were talking about voice actors earlier, or mostly LJ.
Mhm.
Many of the dragons that you rescue in this first Spyro game were voiced by veteran voice actor Clancy Brown, who's also the voice of Mr. Krabs.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't even. Now that I think about it, I guess.
Well, now I have to go listen to that again. I'm like, what?
Well,
Crap. Yeah.
Mr. Krabs is a very stylized voice,
Yeah.
SpongeBob, me boy, but like when he's doing the dragons on Spyro, it's pretty much just his regular voice. And thank you for releasing me. And
That's cool.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. And okay, so here's another SpongeBob connection. At one time, Spyro was voiced by Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob himself.
What?
Yes.
Whoa.
When?
I think in the third Spyro game, I want to say.
So that's kind of cool. They already had a connection.
Yeah. Wow.
That's pretty sweet.
And SpongeBob SquarePants, I want to say, started in 1999, and Spyro Year of the Dragon released in 2000.
Oh, cool.
Dang.
So there's been some big voices tied to this thing from the beginning, then.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
when you're connected with Universal, you can get a lot of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, we kind of ran through it this week. I feel like I talked a lot.
That's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
this was your pick, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know more. You know more
Yeah.
about history and such, and I had different history with it, but it wasn't as extensive. So.
Yeah, so let's start wrapping things up. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to add?
I did have something, but now it's left me.
LJ, do you have anything?
It always seems to happen.
No, pretty much the fact that I really do want to go through some of these old Spyro games again, because I was doing research and stuff and just watching Let's Plays of it and all that, and I was like, well, if I get a PS2, I can check out like every one of these games, and then I really do want to finish that reboot trilogy, because I only beat the first one on GameCube, and then I found out even the third one is still on PS2, because that was a strange time, because when they were transitioning to the PS3 and 360, so that third one actually came out on PS3 and 360, because my brother and I had played the third one for a few minutes, but I just think it would be one of those trilogies to go, all the way through and just play them all, so I plan on doing that.
Yeah, so especially since it was designed with a trilogy in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
And that's one of the reasons why I've also wanted to play the reboot trilogy, was because it was designed with a 3-part story arc.
Yeah.
And I just never got around to buying them.
Yeah. Oh, no, they're great games. I highly recommend them. For sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, next week it's Nolan's pick, so why don't you go ahead and tell us what we're going to be playing next week?
Yeah. So, originally, so there's there's a couple games that I can call my favorites. There's like a couple series out there, Zelda, Mario. Always been a big fan of Mario, and Jak and Daxter, especially the later games. Oh, just you wait. And then, like, my favorite RPG series, which I didn't even realize was an RPG when I first started playing them, You know, I used to think that, oh, yeah, Kingdom Hearts is the first one I played. No. We were playing because it's the 20th anniversary, and I was like, we should do this Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, which I know...
All three.
Yeah, all three together, because I think... Yeah, because I got Red, LG, I think you got Yellow, and Patrick got Blue.
Mm-hmm. And actually,
Even though-
Shelly is going to be on next week's episode as well.
Yeah, that too. So
Yes, because I won't be here.
Yes.
Yeah. because, as Joel stated, he's not a fan of the role-playing games,
But,
which is fine.
Those of you who are listening, you might know Shelley Walter from the Geeks Under Grace podcast and the Twitch channel, which Joel is also streaming on.
Yep.
So yeah, we're heavily affiliated with them, and so that's where you'll know her from. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
She'll be our first guest, actually.
Yeah. Branching out,
Mhm.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
right? So, so we're going to be playing the original games, which, if you're cool, you still have your original. Like, I still have my yellow cartridge from 1999 that is
Oh,
still
dang.
there, has my name on it. Yeah, just like, oh. I actually have I still have a Nuzlocke going through on that. I should finish at some point. And then, so you can have it on the original games. Nintendo just released the first three on the 3DS Virtual Console, which that's where like each of us got a version of right now. And I've been I need to update everybody on the B Lord. And also,
So
if
tell
you
us
have,
who's the B-Lord.
oh yeah, so real quick, when this came out, I like put on Geeks Under Grace Facebook page, like, hey, I want you guys to pick what types I should have to take me through the Elite Four, and like the top three I will pick and have with me. And I was shocked. Everyone was really, really nice about it. And the top one was Dragon, and then like Dragon, Psychic, and Bug.
Oh, dang.
So I was like,
That's a
wow,
weird mix.
right? I was like, okay, the two like most like legit types and then Bug, which and that was a joke. Like I'm a fan of Game Grumps, and they play it through Fire Red. And the joke thing was that Aaron, one of the guys on there, had a Beedrill that everyone was like, you should get rid of that. It sucks. No, don't have it. And because of that, he's like, nah, I'm having him through everything, and like kept it with him to the Elite Four. So I thought that'd be fun to do that as well. So I have my Beedrill, who's like my main, which kind of sucked. Then he got his special move, and he single-handedly took out all of Surge's gym in one run without a return trip, and has basically wrecked Giovanni in the first time. Like I'm about to go to the fourth gym, as per recording this. By the time this comes out, I'll probably be much further, hopefully. But yeah, so there's that. So I have Kadabra already, so I'm hoping to trade that and get that Alakazam, B-Lord, and all that. So yeah,
Cool.
it'll be fun stuff. Yeah. And
So they'll have to update us on your progress next week.
oh, for sure. I was trying to do that, and I haven't got to play it that much lately, sadly. So I've been, yeah.
Too many games, not enough time.
Oh,
Yeah,
honest,
me too.
yeah.
Especially
So
for those
much.
who don't know, I write reviews for geeksundergrace.com. And so trying to play these games that I'm reviewing and playing games on my own time, there's definitely a balancing act there, just with the daily life. But, it's definitely a cool experience. But for some reason, 2016 has just been nuts. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Yeah.
Nolan, why don't you tell the people where you can be found on the internet?
You can find me on the internet. I have a Twitter, which is Bassman214. As in bass guitar, BASS. So not bass. Everybody keeps saying bass. I'm like, that's not it. Not Bassman. Bassman. And that on Twitter. I have a YouTube channel under the same name that I am trying to revive. I was getting all stoked because I like Dark Souls. That was coming out. I was like, sweet. Comes out March 24th. Yeah. In Japan. So we don't get it till April. So I was gonna do that, and but yeah, I like to play a lot of Nintendo games, stuff. On Twitch, I'm Icy White Falcon, and same thing with Steam. And yeah. So that's where you can find me, in various places like that.
Cool. And LJ, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/ELJAY337, on Twitter at ELJAY_337, and for Twitch and everywhere else, for Twitch it's twitch.tv/WarHeroLJ, but you can find me under that name under PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and all that stuff. So that's about it.
Cool. And you can find me pretty much anywhere that you can find me. It will be Obi-Wan Kenobi. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Steam, PlayStation. YouTube. Yes, I have 2 channels on YouTube, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Obi-Wan Kenobi _LP. And the LP is for my Let's Play channel, which I have updated in a year and a half. And my the other one, Obi-Wan Kenobi Plain, is just it's a vlog channel that I haven't updated in a while. The last video I put on there was actually kind of this disappointment in Star Wars posters.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember that.
But maybe one day, if I ever get my act together, I'll start making vlogs and Let's Plays again. But yeah, you just search Obi-Wan Kenobi, and anywhere you find that name, it's going to be me because nobody else picks it.
It's unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that'll do it for this week. Thanks everybody for watching. I mean, watching. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm so used to doing Let's Plays on Twitch. Thanks everybody for listening. Come back next week for Pokemon. I hope you have fun playing Spyro. Be good, humans.
Bye, everybody.
Alright. Adios, amigos.